Matthew Boyd of the Detroit Tigers joining us on FT Live right now. Matthew, great to see you. Where are you, by the way? You in the hotel room?
Yeah. What's up, guys? Yeah, in the hotel room in Toronto.
You're at that.
Heading
You're
over a little bit.
Are you at the Two Seasons in Toronto?
No, that one we used to be. We're at the Ritz now. A real downgrade.
Oh,
Ooh, let's
nice. Tell
go.
what's her
Holler.
name? Mitzi. Hi,
Who's that?
the hotel lady at the Ritz, Mitzi.
It's the same
I
person for
think
years?
it was a couple years ago.
Oh.
I went
Oh,
up there
wow.
one day and she gave me a good rate on a hotel. So love you, Mitzi.
Oh, after.
Oh,
After
there
I
you
was
go.
no, but when I was playing, she was the lady,
Yep.
and then we went
Like
there.
the manager?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
when we went there again, I called her and said, "Hey, Mitzi, I'm coming in with my family," and she's like, "Oh,
Hooked
okay,
you up
took
with the
care of
friends
you."
and
So
family?
love you, Mitzi.
There you go. Love you, Mitzi. Hey, Matthew, to finish our debate here, have you faced Luis Ariz, and do you think that he's a guy who would get significant money if he was a free agent suddenly in the offseason?
I mean, the game's changing right now for sure, and I think it favors the contact guy, the guy that can get on base. There's so many ways to get to second base. Those are being re-explored, if you will, right now. So I mean, I think so. He's a guy that doesn't strike out and he gets on base a ton, and I think that's he controls the strike zone well. He's a tough out. I mean, I'd want him on my team for sure.
So who would you rather face? Luis Ariz, contact guy, going to slap a single to left, or Miggy in his prime that's going to take you deep 500 times?
How is that a question?
What?
I mean, nothing. I gotta say nothing against Luis, but I don't want to face Biggie.
Well, there's your answer.
at all.
Contact, yeah, blue contact.
He did just rigs
Biggie was the
questions.
contact guy with power,
Yeah,
in the prime
exactly.
too. So it's like, gosh, it's not it's not a fun matchup for anybody.
No, that's not a fair comparison. I want to ask you about Toronto because first off, I was shocked. It took almost 2 weeks for them to have their home opener. I'm like, can they be home like earlier on in their season? But it's been, I'm sure, electric there. So first part, what do you think of the renovations in person? Does it look very different? And you were in that organization too years
Yeah.
back, right?
Yeah, no, it's cool. I know, I love this place because it's like I debuted here. I got to play my first playoff game here last year. But it looks awesome. They did a great job with it. It just, it was like it looks like a complete ballpark now. You don't have that kind of how the stadium used to shift over a little bit for football and whatnot. It looks seamless. It looks nice. I think that the fences ended up moving in a little bit too, so that's never nice for a pitcher. But I mean, it looks amazing, and it's always a great atmosphere here.
Hey, was there a beer that fell in the bullpen or something? I know some of the guys were talking about it on the Tigers because, hey, I think everything's closer now. So,
Yeah.
no offense, the Tigers and the Blue Jays don't have a strong rivalry. I'm worried about like Yankees or Red Sox if there's such closeness there. What happened
Yeah.
and what did the guys say?
I don't know. Actually, I missed that. If that happened last night, I missed it. I could see it happening though with how the game was going late there, and they made their comeback. I mean, yeah, they're right on you, and those are like I think it's the only section of bleacher seats right there is right behind the bullpen. So, like, I could see that getting pretty heated for a AL East division, rivalry game and whatnot, and because they're before you had that like 15-foot buffer. They're so high above you, you don't have to really worry about too much. But now you're kind of eye level with everyone out there. Like just going out there to be with the guys when they're warming up before the game. I mean, they're letting you have it pretty good. So that'll be interesting out there, especially when the Yankees are in town and whatnot.
They still jump on the dugouts, the dugouts because they have the metal dugouts in
Tin.
Toronto, and they have like cheerleaders, and they're like jumping, and
Yeah.
it sounds like the dugout's going to collapse on your head. They still
Yeah,
do
same
that.
thing. Yeah,
They,
and people
let's
are banging
go.
on it. Boom, boom,
Blue
boom,
Jays,
boom.
and they're boom, boom, boom,
Yeah,
and then you're like,
no,
ah.
it's
So
exactly that tin roof. Yeah.
I do have an honest question. You can tell me it's none of my business, but I mean that's fine. You debuted with the Blue Jays in 2015. They make
Yeah.
the playoffs. You didn't get a playoff share. To me, that bothers me. Now, people that don't know out there, when you play for a team that makes the playoffs, you have a vote from the guys that get a full share, and they vote for guys to get money. Basically, when you lose in the playoff, depending on where you finish, you get money. So the farther you go, you get more money. And you try to get every single guy that played an inning for you. If you pitch one inning, you're like, okay, well, this guy gets $500, whatever it is, right? So that would bother me. Did it bother you when you were like, did you know better?
I didn't know better. It's a funny story, ironically. Like, so Daniel Norris and I were close coming up. We were so close. He's one of my best friends. But I was, that was my first year in the big leagues. I was a sixth round senior sign, so I signed for, you know, very little, comparatively to some people. And so what I made that year was just like that was just what we were living off of. So I was actually working a desk job for my uncle, and Norris calls me and he's like, "Hey, he's like, dude, check your bank account." And I'm all excited. So I pick up the phone and I check it, and I'm like, "What am I looking for, man?" He's like, "No, you see it?" I'm like, "No, I don't see it. What am I looking for?" And it was I was oblivious to the whole thing. It happens. I don't
I
know if it
shouldn't have
happened or
it.
not.
No,
I,
that's
I
It
crap.
I will
shouldn't.
say this: everybody on that team was awesome to me. Everyone was a great guy. I was there for 2 starts. I wasn't even in big league spring training. To give guys benefit of the doubt. Like I was an unknown to a lot of people. It was my second full season. It was my second, yeah, full season in the minors, third season, and third pro season. I debuted fast. I could see how it slipped through the cracks. And it's it's different, but it's all good. I don't
You're
hold
too
any
nice.
ill will to any of those.
You're
those
too
guys.
nice. You're too nice. You're way, way too nice.
No,
So
I know exactly. Yeah, you know
he's way too
exactly who
nice.
was running that
Yeah.
meeting too. That was Joey Bats,
Batista,
and
yeah.
he
He wanted
owes
that
you.
500. He wanted that $500.
He owes you next time you see him, and it's okay if you get it from him, and you can call all the rest of those dudes because they traded you for D Price, who ended up helping them.
True.
Like that's a
Yeah.
quarter share in my book.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
You
Although
know,
you
I,
guys
it,
didn't win anyway, I got the ring to prove it that we won
yeah,
that
you,
year.
you
So
do, you do. I know that was a playoff series, man. But
Have you have
yeah,
you stayed in have you stayed in Daniel Norris's van?
I never stayed in it with them. I mean, that'd be tight quarters, and that thing smells so bad. It is rancid in there. The guy I love Dino. He's not really known for his hygiene. At times he's a nature man, but yeah, I think it's unique. And there were a few times in Dunedin where when we were in spring training, we had to that thing came to a stop, and I had to hop out of the car and push start it, to get it going a little bit. So I was happy to see him upgrade it to an FJ once about his fourth year in the big leagues, he finally got a new car, so that was kind of sick. And now he's driving a nice Defender, but it's sure upgrade. I think he put a 10 on top of the Defender now, so it's a little classier than the old VW van for sure.
nice. That's really nice. I wonder. It probably still stinks though, but you don't need to
More,
comment
yeah.
on that.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Any car that has a wetsuit dryer in it, and all it consists of is holes in the bottom of it to get the water out. I'm not taking his the cleanliness thing on him. Love Dino to death. So happy. If he bummed that we don't get to play together anymore. But yeah, not that kind of guy. With the hygiene.
So that brings me to my question about playing at home. Now, do you guys still live out in like about 20 minutes outside of Seattle?
Yeah,
So
yeah. So that
last
was
year
sick.
you played at home, and now you're back not at home. How'd you do that? Because as soon as everybody I know plays at home, Mama's like, "Hey, you got to stay. Hey, kids, like you got to stay." You're like, "I love sleeping in my bed 7 days,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
not 7 days." How did you do that? And what was that free agency like courting process by the Tigers?
Um, staying at home was awesome. Playing for the hometown team was a dream come true. Not to mention like the fan side of me finally getting to the playoffs, like having all my best friends like we're on group text and they're constantly texting about the Mariners, and now it's like, oh, I'm part of that now, like we playing for them and whatnot. That was so special. Opportunity just presented itself to come back to Detroit, and it was awesome, man. I'm a big believer in AJ, big believer in Chris Fetter, our pitching coach, and big believer in Scott Harris. When I got the opportunity to sign in San Francisco last year, and chose to go there, it was hugely for the vision they had for me and getting me back to the person I was, prior to my injury, like in 2019 and whatnot and 18. And it was like the plan that was laid out. It was real exciting, and I got to see the fruits of it. So then when he came to Detroit, pairing that with a manager I loved playing for and a pitching coach I really liked, I knew that everything was going to get supercharged, if you will. I was going to walk into a new organization, and coupled with the familiarity of Detroit and the people that we love there and the city that we really came to love, and So it was an awesome opportunity when it presented itself, and it was we jumped on it. It's home to us. Our oldest daughter was born there, and she and our oldest son have so many memories there. So it's a cool full circle moment to be back here right now.
Matthew, thank you for saying you're a big fan of mine. I really appreciate it. That's why you went back to Detroit. I know I played a lot of games there, so thank you so much for saying that. It means a lot in my heart. What was it like? You said you signed with the Giants, and then you got traded to the Mariners, but you never pitched for the Giants. So how
Yeah.
does that work? Were you thinking the Giants come to you and say, "Okay, you're almost back. Oh, by the way, we're going to trade you to your hometown team"? Were you like, "Yeah"?
It was for sure like a weird scenario, not something I thought about at all. Like as the deadline came about, I was getting ready for my first live VP. I had a setback a few weeks earlier, so it was like finally, like time has come. Here it is. Finally get to go do this. I'm feeling good. And I had a missed phone call from Scott. Had a missed phone call from Cap, and I was like, it was one day that I was taking a little longer at home. Like it was probably like 2 o'clock. I was like, I'm not doing anything today. I'm pitching tomorrow, so let's just I'll stay a little later, hang out with the kids a little bit before they go down for a nap. And I was like, dang, everyone's noticing I'm not here. Like this is crazy. So one day I'm late or whatnot, and sure enough, last thing on my radar was that I was going to get traded, and then here to get traded to here to get I was getting traded to the hometown team that was really looking good to make the playoffs and everything. I was like, man, this is such a blessing. I'm really grateful for this opportunity, and I mean, a lot of happy tears shared on my family side. Getting we have 4 kids, so all our families in Seattle. So the idea of bringing the whole family back for a couple extra months to be around them, the grandparents were happy, cousins were happy, and then it's a cherry on top that I get to pitch for the Mariners. So it was really special, man. But something I was not expecting by any means.
And now you're back. Go ahead, Kratzy.
Oh no, I was just going to say, and you played for free when you went to Seattle, so that was nice. At least you got to stay at home, but all the tickets that you had to pay for were just blowing you up.
You know what the best part about it was is that like I've come back. I think I've made like 3 or 4 starts in Seattle in my career, and those days like we've got to put a buffer on what we got because I do play. I've played for free for sure there at times, but like being a reliever and like I was pitching. I wasn't pitching the big leverage situations at times, right? That was so sporadic and kind of how I was used, and like because that team was just loaded, that bullpen was loaded, that I didn't have to leave a lot of tickets because everyone asked, when you pitch, and I'd be like, man, I don't know. You should just grab a bleacher seat and come down. Like Logan's pitching, he's going to do great tonight. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So being down in the bullpen, I just see all my buddies who were slightly inebriated down there in the pen, and they just come yelling at me every day. And it was a good time for sure.
So now, yesterday we had a big debate. Okay, we had Gabe, who's soft but really jacked, and we had a debate with the manager from the Angels, Phil Nevin, who would win in a fight. Now, I don't know if you know Phil at all, but I'm sure you've seen him. Who would win in a fight between Gabe Kapler and AJ? And I got a follow-up based on what your answer is.
Gabe Kapler and AJ?
I'm sorry, Gabe Kapler and Phil.
And Phil Nevin? I mean, gosh, nothing against Phil. I don't know him really well, but I'm sure he's a great guy. I got to go with the guy I played for, though, or at least that was my manager a little bit in San Francisco, right? I think I got to go with Cap just to play it safe.
That's who I thought you'd say. I thought you'd say you're enamored by the fake tan and the bicep curls. Bicep curls don't lift a lot of weight. But anyway, so now I already glimpsed into my other question: who wins, Kapler or AJ Hinch?
Oh, I was gonna say me.
No, not
now,
you.
see,
You're
now I gotta air towards my current manager. I mean, he was a catcher, right? You guys are always the first line of defense. I know that AJ knows it too. It's like you guys are when it hits the fan, you guys are the first one right there taking the blow. So I always going with the catcher on that one.
These guys
and my
soft.
current manager. I want to go later in the game, so I'm not going to win that if I.
Matthew, you're going to the 6th.
He's smart.
Yeah, you're smart.
He is smart. I want to ask about the Tigers, though. So, another go-round with this ball club, and it's a different regime, too, right? You mentioned Scott Harris now running the ship for the front office, and Al Avila was there previously. What are you seeing? Anything different, whether it's from a player development standpoint, preparation standpoint? Obviously, AJ has now been there for a few years, but what do you think that Scott does to put his stamp on the organization?
I think player development, it's advanced, without getting too nitty gritty into all the details, but player development it is. Pre-game game planning, the player experience, man, it's the things that are like the whole clubhouse, everything is redone in that sense. There's a lot of resources to help us have success on the field. I think one of the biggest things too is just the understanding of like, hey, here are the things that like given to us from the staff that Matt Boyd can do that are going to get you to the place that you want to be. Who we believe you can be, like the best, the optimal version of yourself, and that's like that's been the coolest thing. It's like, hey, Matt, these are things that are like really non-result based goals that are gonna, doing these things, the results on the back of your baseball card are going to be a symptom of that, right? The good results. And it's like, here's how we think you can be your optimal self. And it goes down the list for everyone. And I think like those little incremental gains that you do that across the roster, everyone buys in, everyone wants to be better in those ways is really what can elevate you as a team. Obviously we all have our ways to get better right now. Or I don't want to even say we're in a rut. I think we've been in a lot of ball games and ended up on the wrong side of them. And I know it's going to turn for us soon, but it's like, those are the kind of things that I think will separate us. And it's been really cool in that sense to be part of this and to see the change. And I know it's going to benefit us all.
Matthew, you seem like a really nice fella. I've heard that you're one of the nicest fellas in Major League Baseball. Can you tell me? Confirmed from Scott Braun, which means nothing to me. He also lives at my house, so he has to say nice things about me. You have a charity, which I read about because we were having you on today, called Kingdom Home, correct? Can you explain to our listeners and our viewers what Kingdom Home is, where we can donate, where it's located, and just give me the whole thing? Because after reading about it, I'm very interested in this because it's about children.
Yeah. So Kingdom Home, our goal is to end child sex trafficking through prevention. Kingdom Home has over 100 kids from ages 6 to 17 in their care. And our goal is to provide for their spiritual, educational, physical, and needs. And basically, children who are at risk, there's a wide variety of kind of criteria that makes them at risk. We offer them a scholarship to come stay at a home where they're not at risk, where they can have 3 meals a day, where they can have their own bed, where they can get an education, learn God's love, and then get vocational training or further their education in university to essentially break that chain of what is really like an ugly reality, not only in the world but especially in Uganda. Uganda's average age is, I think, not to misquote it, but I think it's 16 years old of the whole country, and I think in America it's in the 30s somewhere. So it's a really young population, and because of that, it puts a lot of children at risk. And so Kingdom Home is basically, my wife is the executive director. She got her degree in this. She's worked in numerous sectors of like social justice in the nonprofit world. And in 2018, we had this opportunity to partner with a lady named Dorothy in Uganda who had the same mission. She had 36 girls in her care, and she was in desperate need of help. So we partnered with her, and from it has come Kingdom Home. So it's cool. We went from renting land, and due to the generous support of people around the world, we've purchased a few parcels of land. One being 6 acres with 3 homes on it. It's pretty cool. It's sustainable. So there's solar power on the homes. There's three built homes that have fit about 40 kids each. And it's a home. It's not an orphanage. It's not a dormitory. Everything's structured like a home. So it's awesome stuff. Our website is kingdomhome.org. You can go on there. There's like a general give page that you can give to kind of wherever the need is, or you can go into the child. You can sponsor a child so it's kind of crazy. For $120 a month, you can provide for a child's all their needs: school, food, living costs to be a part of Kingdom Home. It's $120 a month. And it's, you think about it, it's like, man, that's kind of crazy. Like how cheap it is compared to, just but whatnot, but it provides for all their needs. And that's where you can have on a monthly basis, you can have a relationship with a child. Um, you write letters and whatnot, and truly invest in their future. So it's pretty cool stuff. We're getting to the phases now where these some of these kids, boys and girls, are getting to need to go to university or and whatnot. So we're starting to prepare for that and scholarship funds and whatnot. But we got some cool stuff going on. Check out the website kingdomhome.org, and thanks for letting me get a chance to talk about that. Yeah, it's something that's special to us, and it's a need that's just like that whole kind of world is not fun to talk about. It's really dark, but you know, people all over are making a difference. And Ashley and I are called to this corner of Uganda, and we're trying to make our difference in it.
So the homes are actually in Uganda, correct? Not in the
Yes.
States.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
have you been over there? Have you and your wife been over there to see the kids and be a part of
Yeah,
it?
yeah, a couple times. We'll be back over there again. We send teams throughout the year. Part of Kingdom Home that continue to visit and do different things. Whether it's different medical missions or educational things or whatnot. So it's awesome. It's such a beautiful country. Uganda is amazing. It's it's the greenest place. I live in the Northwest, and it's greener than the Northwest. It's pretty cool. But amazing people, and like the true heroes though are like Dorothy and the other house parents that are there pouring into these kids day in and day out. Being a house mother, being a house father, uh, just raising these kids right, and it's pretty special.
Matt, really appreciate you explaining it all. And let's finish on a fun note here, just to go back at AJ saying, yes, confirmed. I've covered and been around many players over a decade. Matthew Boyd is at the least top 5 nicest dudes in the game, which is what you want. We put Brandon Woodruff in that top 5 as well. And we were trying to like separate it with, do you buy random meals for people sometimes? Like be at a restaurant or a bar? Have you done that? We were just like, Matthew Boyd's probably a guy that's done that because Brandon Woodruff does that.
That's pretty cool. I need to step up my game then. That's pretty awesome. The last guy that did that for me though was Aaron Judge in AAA, and he hit 2 bombs off me the next day. It was horrible.
Wait,
So I
what?
think I need to maybe like find wherever the opposing team is and lock myself in for about 12 plus punchies, and it'd be solid.
Judge bought you dinner the night before that?
Yeah, it was crazy. We were in Scranton, and I took my wife from beautiful Toledo to beautiful Scranton, to on a trip, and we went to a Longhorn Steakhouse, and there was Judge at the booth behind us, and we played against each other since college. So he's like, "Hey, Maddie," and he walked out, and they're like, "Oh, this is all comped for you," and he got dessert. Dessert was brought to the table, and being a minor leaguer, like, "Oh, this is sick," and then the next day, just off 0-2 seam down and away, takes it off the berm, and the next at bat hit a curveball. It was like he earned those 2 right there. Wasn't
You
even
got
trying to
karma
do.
homers.
Yeah,
Those are
exactly.
karma homers.
I think he's past the karma homer state now. This day and age,
I
yeah.
tell you what, Matthew, when I do a Tigers game this year, because I have a couple scheduled for
Yeah.
Fox, I'm going to find you. You can buy me dinner, and then we can talk
Great.
about it. Yeah, you
Oh,
can buy
that's
me
really
dinner. Yeah.
do a good on
Spread
the
it on.
Hit a
podcast. I
homer
like
off
that.
you either.
I like that. Just let me know where you're at.
Okay.
Birmingham or whatever. Yeah, we'll line it up.
Perfect.
I love it. Hey, good luck tonight in Toronto. Enjoy that vibe, and good luck the rest of the season. I'm sure we'll catch you again soon. But thanks for coming on, Matthew. Appreciate it, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys.